Okay guys, so welcome to our fifth tutorial on C programming, and in the last section we did some very basic outputs. We called the function printf from the standard input output library to help us perform some basic outputs. Now I mentioned that in programming, especially in C, we need the computer to perform certain instructions, right? And we define those instructions in our code like we are doing. So we wanted our computer to display hello world, and we got it to do so in about 9 lines of code, right? Awesome. We can tell our computer to do lots of different things. One of the things is remembering things. Yes, just like how we remember our birthdays, our anniversaries, or even when mom tells us to remember a phone number she's calling out from a call, we can let our computer remember stuff. So to remember that stuff, we normally remember it in our brains, in our memories, right? The computer also has a memory which it can use to store stuff that we want it to remember. So this stuff that we are storing in memory is normally referred to as data, right? In computer parlance, we see that we are giving the computer data to store. So we give our computer data to remember or store through our program. And this data is remembered or stored in containers. It has to be kept somewhere in memory. In containers in the computer's memory called variables. So I want to store a number in the computer memory. I would have to create a variable for it. So how do I create a variable? So let's create a variable on this line. Creating a variable. Now I want to create a variable to store a number. So what do? int I semicolon. So this is a simple way of creating a variable. Now these two things I've written here is defining what type of variable I'm using. So int simply stands for integer. So that means I want to store an integer that's a number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to store it in an int. So I'll write the type of data I'm storing, which is known as data type. Okay, so int is our data type, the type of data we are storing. And I'm calling my variable I, or let me just rather call it integer. So integer. But I think that's a bit confusing. So let's stick to the I. A lot of people use I. So we are simply creating a variable which is going to store an integer, and we are naming it I. Now we can, on the next line, actually ask the computer to store something in that container that we've created. So we are going to store a value, an integer value, inside I. So how we do that is that we are going to say I is equal to, let's say, 1000. Then we add a semicolon. Remember that in everything, that every piece of code we write in our main function has to end with a semicolon because we want it to run, right? Now this is called a statement. 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 Once we are not using a function like printf where we see the brackets, it's called a statement. This is also a statement, but we normally say we are calling something. We are calling a function. Whenever we use a function, we say we are calling a function, or like a calling statement. But this is known as we are trying to let our computer remember this integer value in the container called I. It should store the integer value 1000 inside I. And this type of statement is also known as an assignment statement. An assignment statement. So for those of you who don't like your homework, we are going to be doing a lot of assignments here. So if you are trying to run away from homework, then you are going the wrong place. So we've successfully gotten our computer through this program to remember the value 1000, and we are remembering it in a container that has a label I. Yes. So essentially, let's compile our program, no errors. That means it was able to store that number in I and run the program, hello world, as we had it. So we don't see what is happening. We don't see, there's no way of, right now there's no way of seeing what we stored in I, which is a problem because we want to be working with stuff that we are seeing, right? So I'm just going to demonstrate how we can show what we stored in I to properly confirm that the computer has actually remembered it, right? Okay. So let's just delete this. We are going to type everything I'm going to type. The value in I is, and percentage %d, and a comma outside the string, the one in the quotes. You add a comma, and we are going to say, we are going to put I, and we are going to save it, and then we are going to compile, run, and bam, the value in I is 1000. Isn't that awesome? That's very awesome. So in the next program, I'm going to explain what exactly I did. I wrote a lot. I'm going to explain what exactly I did. We are going to break it down. We are going to understand it. So stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.